To interview.
You ready?
We got Alexander Mazzei in the building, not even in the building, virtually, I guess, you know what I mean, today. Creator of the NFTS.tips community that's going crazy right now on Clubhouse, on the internet. It's probably the best place to get any kind of information or tips.
These people don't even know what Clubhouse is, dude. If you're not on Clubhouse, you're going to be speaking another language.
That's big facts. That's big facts. But I feel like the people that follow us, they're hip. You know what I'm saying? If you're not hip, definitely, you know, if you're not an iPhone user, probably if you haven't gotten your invite.
If you've yet to activate your invite, please
now's the time. Now is the time, because
for those of you who don't know, Clubhouse is an in beta, iPhone only, exclusive app that's audio only. So there's no visuals, there's no texting, and it's the evolution of social media. And what's happening is people are now, they've been stuck in this little holding pattern for over a year because of the COVID. And now these people have built this fire inside that has to get out. And these communities are being developed on specific talking points, and relationships are being made. And everybody that's in this little, like, dude, we've been running our room for almost 780 hours straight, nonstop. And before that, I was in the videographer's room, and they've been going 3 months, 24/7. So these rooms that I'm a part of are part of this community that are changing lives. But at the same time, like, when you're in this world, you just think everybody in the world knows about it. And my fiance, she walks around telling people, "Oh yeah, my fiance is doing the NFT room on Clubhouse." And people are like, "Yo, what are NFTs and what are Clubhouse?" She's like, "You're not on Clubhouse."
Oh! Big facts, big facts. If you're not hip to this space, please listen to this conversation, because I think like you said in the beginning, man, like before we actually got started, like this is really going to be the opportunity to kind of bring the change that the average citizen wants, you know what I'm saying? As far as like decentralization of things and kind of being able to put your work and your money like really in your own. But let's get into this interview, man. You have such an extensive background, an extensive professional career. When people ask you like who you are, what you do professionally, like how do you answer that question?
Nah, dude, I don't answer questions. I avoid it, and I do the porcupine technique. I go, "That's a really interesting question. Why do you ask?"
Like, yeah, big facts. Yeah, because you do so much, man. Like you started off as a performer doing magic professionally. How did that come about?
Before that, I was just a regular dude, right? I was just a human being, and I don't know why, but I got like this criminal / like entrepreneurial mind, right? So my mind will either go in one direction or the other. But I have a clean heart, so like I never really wanted to do anything that would compromise my integrity. But I think like a criminal, you know what I mean? Like I look at things so differently than the regular people. And growing up in a classroom and sitting there, now you have to understand, my parents, they traveled. So when I was a kid, 2 years old, I'm flying in helicopters, landing on glaciers in Alaska, and my grandma's convincing the people, "Oh, this glacier doesn't have a name. Who was the youngest person that ever landed on here?" And they're like, "That guy." "Well, why don't you name it after him?" So like I got glaciers named after me since I was 2 years old.
That's
you know,
crazy.
I was born for greatness.
So crazy.
But like the problem was growing up as a kid, even when I got into middle school, my friends got PlayStations and Super Nintendos and Genesises and all these other different gaming systems and all these toys, and my parents wanted to travel. So like we would go all over the world, we would experience things, and then you would put me in a classroom and I'd sit there and be like, "Yo," like I remember sitting in a class and they were talking about the Civil War in America. Mind you, that summer I was in the reenactment in Virginia with gunpowder smells and noises, and I'm just sitting here going, "Yo, what could you possibly teach me in a book?" I was there.
I've lived it. Right. I've lived it. I was there.
Hey, yeah, so I was a troublemaker because I was bored, and I didn't know how to connect with the reason why this system was what it was, and I was just like, "Yo, this is so outdated." And I remember another problem I had when I was a freshman in high school. Everybody thought I was a senior because I was so mature, and I was doing magic to kind of like I wanted to do like hallucinations and stuff, but I didn't want to do any drugs. So the magic was an opportunity for me to like create this new world, to create this new concept, to bring attention to things. And then I became known in my school as like the magic man. And people didn't care about me, Alexander, which wasn't even my real name. Like this is all made up. This is all just a Google search term because so my real name's Brett. And my last name is Mazzei, and my middle name's Alexander. So I took the A from my middle name, added it to Mazzei, and added NG. So I went as Brett Amazing. So I went all over the world. I was cutting school, opening up in Vegas. I was doing magic full time. And my search term was so powerful that when I got into video production, I had to change my identity because I didn't want to confuse people. And that's one of the things, like you said, what do you tell people? What do you do? I do my best to read the audience, and I give them what they need to know about me to not confuse them. Because when you just sit there and ramble all of this stuff off, they don't believe me. So I have to have on the blockchain, look at my YouTube videos that are from 20 years ago.
Right.
I'm not making this shit up. I've documented my whole life, and it's all on the blockchain of YouTube and all these other, like, Steam it. Like, dude, I've been in this game for a long time. You could look me up.
Steam it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I've been in this game for a minute. So when I meet people, I just try to read them and connect with them where I feel like I can be a value to their relationship. I'm always about trying to deliver value first and connect people and figure that all out. But I think that was the answer to your question.
Yeah. Okay. So next question would be like, how did you get introduced to NFTs, and when was the first time that kind of came on your radar, and in what way?
All right. So let's go back to so after it takes a little bit of time for you to make this make sense.
Okay.
I started as a magician. I opened up for some of the biggest A-list artists from like the Village People. I went to Poland and opened it up for the biggest pop star who's like the Madonna of Poland, Kaya. And I traveled all over, and I picked up the video partially because I wanted to document my journey. But as I got more and more really good at it, like it became like something that was in my tool belt, right? But I just see it as like a superpower. It wasn't my identity at that time. I was an entertainer, and I had the ability to do videos and graphics and everything else.
Gotcha.
So I was on tour. I got a phone call to go to Australia with the Village People. I ended up going to India, got adopted by a royal family. I was doing so many different things and having an amazing life. And I get a phone call from my mom. She's like, yo, you need to come back to the States. And I don't know what was going on, but my stepdad wasn't feeling well. And then I ended up going to a learning annex, and Donald Trump was on stage, and there was like this whole controversy between me and him. And there was like a moment in time where the people who I connected with at the learning annex had to come through the stage. It looked like the Red Sea had parted. They came through, they stopped me, and they're like, dude, don't ask the question you're about to ask, because you're gonna like blow this room up, and it's not for this, and you created dude, I ended up winning the iPhone that day and all this other shit, like the first original iPhone. But the idea was that day, the weekend, every year before that, I would go to the city in Manhattan and give like a show to all the homeless people. And it was for Christmas and Thanksgiving. And that weekend, my father was put in a hospital for a massive stroke. And I had to make a decision. Do I go and work with these homeless people? My friend owns a Laugh Factory. He was like an 88-year-old dude. He was a professional boxer, and he's like one of the coolest guys I've known. And he just fell in love with my character. I had a puppet at the time named Maurice. So he was like, dude, you need to come in here and make this happen. And I was like, all right, cool. So I had to make a choice. Do I spend it with my dad, who is in the hospital, or do I go and make a difference in people's lives? So I chose the path that I knew my dad would have said if he was well, to just go and work with those people. So I went and worked with the people. And then at that night, I went back to visit him, and he went to the hospital. He was like literally shaking. He was so proud of me. I'm wearing this freaking 3-piece like snakeskin suit, walking in. Like I look like a movie star. The nurse is like, who's this guy? Oh, that's my son. And everywhere I go, I bring smiles and happiness and joy. But in my heart, I knew he was going to die. And I don't know where or how I knew that. And I had to stay strong. And like mentally, I was just like, oh my God, this might be the last time anybody sees him. So I called all my friends and family. I said, dude, you need to come in here and say your piece, because I don't think he's getting out of this time. So all the people came in, they said their piece. And then instead of having a funeral, we kind of had a celebration, because my stepdad was so colorful, and like he was an awesome dude. And then 3 weeks later, my biological father dies. My brother finds him in the bathroom, calls me up, and he's like hysterically crying. And I'm just like, what the fuck's going on? So my mind is just like stressed out, and I had to stay strong for my family. And now I have to liquidate 2 estates. I had to go and sell everything and all the other things. And then I had to move my mom, who had breast cancer at the time, to Florida so she can kind of live in her dream world. And then I was lost, dude. I was broken. My spirit was broken, and I couldn't perform anymore. So that's when I really took on the camera, and I basically hid behind the camera and traveled all over. I connected with a staging company. So now I'm doing Ultra Music Fest, Country Music Awards, NASCAR, NCAA Championship, Monster Jam, living in hotels. And I was like cracking the Google algorithm in the hotel rooms because I had no friends, only the crew, and those became my family. And the rest of the time was like just studying. And like emotionally and like my heart wasn't like clean. It was just like, just fuck. I didn't want to talk about nothing personal. I just like became this like robot, and I was just so like in these like events, and because there's 100,000 people, I can hide my pain right out in the open, and I would just run around this thing. And I did this for years, and I ended up getting burnt out. Ended up moving to LA and said I'm going to start a marketing company, and I brought my dude Fish with me. We got into the area, and I started doing the Bitcoin mining. So I had been buying Bitcoins for like anywhere from $40 to $200 a coin. And then my dude calls me up. He goes, "Yo, let's set up a mining farm." I was like, "Okay, let's go." So I gave him 25 Bitcoin, and he bought the machines. I get a call a month later. He goes, "Dude, the electricity was $18,000 a month." And I was like, "Oh man." So we like stopped mining. Another week goes by. Hold on. The GPU machines came out. So now all of our machines were outdated, and they no longer worked. So now the operation just stopped, and I'm just like, the story of my life. So
Bitcoin.
Yeah, what I did was I took whatever I had left, and we started investing in hoverboards, those little things that you stand on and you move around. So we were distributing them all over LA. I was living in the Wilshire building downtown, and everybody, we had influencers and celebrities all the time, and like everybody in the building was just rolling around on hoverboards. It was like being in the future, right? I didn't even want to walk anymore.
Crazy for a while.
Right when they came out, wow.
We were doing great until they blew up homes, and the customs stopped bringing in the machines into the port.
What do you mean they blew up homes? Like literally blew up homes?
The batteries weren't like, it wasn't my boards. They were just hoverboards. Made the news that they were blowing up people's homes, and then customs said, "We're not bringing them in anymore." So now I'm just like, so I lost everything, all the money I had, everything I had, my whole world just stopped, and I had to make a choice. What do I do? And I ended up connecting with some people who were going to really like get me into some situations that I wouldn't really want to put myself in. So I literally just, I became homeless to disappear. And I was living in a tent for like 8 months. And one day I decided I can't do this no more, and I started hitchhiking. But while I was homeless, dude, I remember one time I was standing on the corner in front of a Walgreens in Van Nuys with an Armani suit on, because that's all I had. And I was asking people for help, and I couldn't even find it in my heart to ask for help, dude. I'm crying. I'm wearing a suit, and I said I can't do this anymore. And I was like emotionally distraught, and I said I got to change something. So I ended up like meeting some new people that kind of helped me get together, and I ended up jumping from city to city, hitchhiking, jumping in ships and boards and all this other stuff. And so I went 56 later back to New York, and I reconnected with my staging crew. And they took me in and gave me a little tiny cubby room in the back, and I slept on a futon for a whole year. And like they were like, "Dude, we don't have a big budget, but we're gonna help you get back on your feet." So I ended up working for like I don't know, it was like $100 or something a week. Like I was like saving my little shekels, like I'm gonna, and I got a freaking dude, it was so emotional. And then I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this. And then I ended up meeting a girl, and I didn't even have a vehicle, dude. My whole world was messed up. And I'm like meeting this girl, and I'm like, yeah, I'm homeless. I don't have a vehicle. This and that. And she was like,
this around now?
What year is this? 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 years ago. So I would borrow a vehicle to come and visit her in Connecticut. She lives like an hour and 40 minutes away. And I was like, wow, things are starting to look good. And then things started getting more serious. And then she's like, yo, you should come to Connecticut. And by then I started getting myself together. And then I don't know how, but I was able to contact this guy that was in LA that was able to hold my vehicle. I had like a minivan, and he like was able to store it, and I was able to get in touch with him, and he shipped the car for me to New York. And like,
Wow.
I was able to get my life kind of back together and started like slowly picking up. But when I was on that journey, I met some people who did a prophecy over me, and they said that you're going to be a leader of like this new movement. And I'm sitting there at that time looking at him like, what are you talking about? Like, there's no way that like my spirit was broken. But now 4 years later, I started getting back into the routine of things. I started picking up the camera again. I started getting into shooting cars. So now I'm doing like these crazy stunts where we shut down the George Washington Bridge with 150 supercars, 2 helicopters, a camera car. We shot everything in 8K. So now like, it's just like my whole world just flipped upside down again, and I'm starting to like climb. So one of my clients calls me up. He goes, dude, we need to come up with a virtual trading show to do like a trade show in the metaverse. And I was like, dude, there's nothing out there that's user friendly. Like, I don't know, dude. And I was looking at Second Life and Caneva because those are things I used 20 years ago. But I'm like, dude, I don't know if it's there yet. And everything I looked at in a commercial platform wasn't really what I would want it to be. So I decided after my friend called me up one day, he goes, dude, you know about Roblox? I'm like, no, what is it? He goes, my kid, he keeps asking me for money for Roblox. So I'm like, all right, well, let me jump into this wormhole. So now I'm like I'm learning how to build from 8-year-olds on YouTube that have 30,000 followers, and they're using OBS with a green screen behind them and moving it like, okay, guys, this is what I'm gonna. So now I'm learning Roblox. I understand all the mechanics, and in about a week and a half, I built this whole universe. And then I get banned for breaking the terms and services because I don't read the rules, and I made like all these like logos, putting Budweiser signs up and everything. They're like, yo, you can't do that. So I got laughable offense. So my dudes that I make a lot of noise. If I'm mad, like the whole world knows it. So I'm talking to my friends. He's like, dude, you need your own gaming engine. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. And I don't even know if I can build my own gaming engine. But what do you think? So he goes, let's look at what Roblox was built on. He goes, look at, I think it was Ogre 3D. So I looked at Ogre 3D. I went to their website. I was like, I don't even know how to install this on my computer, dude. This is beyond me. You got the wrong guy. I can't do this. So then he's like, yo, look at Unreal Engine and Unity. So I looked at both of them. I downloaded both of them. And then after doing a little bit of research, I learned what Unreal Engine was able to do. And I was like, yo, this is my new home. So I started building. I had to learn Blender, 3D Max Pro, Cinema 4D, ZenBrush, all these fucking apps that are like
all those
super complicated.
man. I know exactly what you're talking about. Those are some extensive like softwares and programs.
Right. But here's the problem. In Roblox, everything was a drag and drop. All my assets were a drag and drop. Unreal Engine, everything cost $250. So now I'm like, oh man. So I got to start learning how to find assets and do all that other stuff. So it took me like a 3-week, no sleep, jumping into this thing, and I built like a fully functional working model of a trade show that was absolutely dope, that looked exactly like the trade show that we did. And I had all the different vendors that were standing out in my mind. I showed it to the client. He goes, yo, let me do a walkthrough of the thing. I hit the render, exported it, and when he got it on his computer, Windows Defender pops up with a stupid little banner. It says, this was made by an unregistered developer. There could be a virus on it. And my client was like, I'm not opening this. I'm like, what do you mean? Just do it.
He's trying to hack me.
Just open it.
Oh my God.
I can't afford to lose and compromise my machine. I was like, perfect. So I got all the way to the finish line and couldn't cross it. So then I started finding people in Clubhouse. I just learned about Clubhouse right at the tail end of it. And I was just like, what the hell is this? And my friend's like, dude, they made this app for you. And I'm like, yo, I don't have time to learn another thing.
I don't have time to be talking to people that I don't know.
No, I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even want to hear it. I just took the phone, looked at the text message, and threw the phone on the couch because I didn't want to look at another app. So then the next day I woke up and he hits me up again. He goes, dude, you need to get in here. I was like, all right, fine. What do I got to do? And I look at the app and my brain either likes it or it doesn't. And if it doesn't like it, it just becomes a challenge. So my brain didn't like it. And I'm looking at this going, what do I got to do? So like what is Brooke?
Yeah.
How do you say it? So Brooke, what was saying earlier, the videographer's room was one of the first things that somehow ended up in my hallway. Now, when I signed up for the app, I put one thing. I only want to learn about Unreal Engine. I don't care about nothing else. I'm not going to select all this other stuff because I don't want to be overwhelmed with a bunch of nonsense. So I just put Unreal Engine, and that's it. So now the videographer room come up, and it was videographers, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. I jump in this room, and I hear this dude Ryan talking, and something in my spirit just connected with him, like interfaced with his spirit, and it was like, yo, this is my dude. I need to get in hold of him. But I'm like a nobody on this app, dude. I got no followers. I'm like a loser, dude. And I was just like, whoa. And I'm like, dude, I'm super respectful of people, and I don't like jumping on stages and telling stories, especially the shit that I have coming out of my mouth. People aren't ready to hear. So when I jump into somebody else's stage and I start asking questions that are so forward thinking, they push me down. So I jump on stage and I start telling them about my whole, being an Indian prince and all this other stuff. And they're like, dude, we need to do a documentary on me. I was like, cool, let's go. But then I started sharing some of my knowledge that I learned because I used to shoot for, I did the behind the scenes for Playboy, and I met some really cool people in the industry, and then all my years of experience on tour. So like I have an extensive Rolodex of data in my head. So I started answering questions, and I got that little stupid green bubble. And they never closed this room. So when I came into this room, I would always be on stage and I always have a green mark. I was like, yo, this is cool. Because being in the audience and having this thing inside you and you want to answer a question, you never get the mic, it was the most frustrating thing for me. And I was like, nah, dude, this is cool. So I would go in other rooms and I'd be a peasant level, or I'd go into the video room and I'd be like, yo, this is cool. I'm on the stage. Right?
Gulag shit.
Peasant level.
Dude, that's what I feel like. So once I get to the point where I was like, yo, these people are really awesome. There's so much knowledge in here and they're sharing, and the vibration of this room was special. And I jumped in some of the other rooms and they're not operating from that same space. So after being in that thing for 2 weeks and listening to these guys and getting to know them, like I started listening to people and identifying them by their voice signature. Like I'm like, yo, I know that's Griffin. I know that's Ryan. I know that's, Marcus. And like you hear these people talking and they became a part of your story every day. It was like another thing.
Yeah.
So I saw that there was a possibility, but in my heart, I'm not a videographer anymore. Especially after doing the Unreal Engine, I was like, yo, who's doing virtual production? And they're like, Alexander, what are you talking about? And I'm like, yo, this is the future. Fuck this stuff you guys are talking about. That's outdated bullshit. You need to get in the metaverse. And they were like, yo, Alex, yo, chill out. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm done. So
y'all not trying to push it. Y'all not trying to push it forward. I'm trying to see these new innovations. I'm trying to bring y'all to speed. And if y'all not really there, I see exactly you like, I got to transition for information. I remember why I came here. I was on my Unreal Engine shit. I'm really trying to create these new worlds. So like now I feel like when you go into videographer rooms, like, okay, like-minded individuals, but still you're trying to push that box forward. You're like, are you trying to do that? Because that's exactly what I'm trying to do. So I definitely understand what it is.
They weren't ready. They weren't ready at that time. So I get into this and I'm sitting there thinking, all right, what do I got to do? And dude, I was burnt by the crypto world, dude. I didn't want to have nothing to do with the crypto world. But a stupid room came up called Bitcoin. And I said, you know what? Let me just go and see what's going on in there, because I was just curious. And they brought me up on stage at 6:30 in the morning and they're like, yo, what are you working on? I was like, yo, I just downloaded Robinhood and Webull and all this other stuff. And I think of this whole gamification of like taking like a rally, like Gumball, where you start in one city and you race to the other and each person has their own team and you got all this stuff and you're gaming and doing this other shit. And they were just like, whoa, yo, you lost me. And they're like, it sounds like you should be doing NFTs. And I'm like, fuck, another thing to learn. What's
another
an NFT?
Thing. What is this?
About how long ago was this when the NFT conversation started?
This was exactly a month ago.
Wow.
He's dived in, bro.
Yeah. Continue.
You have to understand. 6:30 in the morning, they tell me about NFTs. Then they said the word NBA Top Shot. I said, what's that? I go to the website. I said, oh, this is interesting. How does this work? Go buy. I tried to buy a pack, sold out. I'm like, yo, this sucks, man. I can't play.
Straight up.
So then
everybody's first experience on NBA Top Shot.
Alex missed out just like us too on this last track, bro. It fucking sucked.
No, but I'm like sold out. I didn't even understand what it was. But I find that Roham and some other people from the developing team were doing a room on Clubhouse on that. It's Friday that I learned about it. Saturday night, I was listening to Rohan talk about this thing. And then the next night, they were talking about how to do strategy on buying cards. So, like, I had 4 hours of information from the leaders of this space. And I was just like, the Saturday morning, I hit up Ryan. I was like, dude, we need to start a videographer rooms for NFTs. And he's like, what are you talking about, dude?
What is it?
NF what?
What?
NF
Like, I said, dude, just stop. Just help me open up the room. We're going to build something here. So he goes, all right. And then he ended up staying for like 2 hours trying to wrap his mind around. And I pulled some of the other people. This guy, Sam, he goes to Snacks. So when I came in there asking about Unreal Engine questions, he's
Rare
like, crypto
pizza.
voxels.
Shout out Snacks. Rare pizzas.
Yeah, but hold on. That's down the road. He was talking about crypto voxels. And I went to crypto voxels and I was like, yo, this is like going back in time, dude. This is not Unreal Engine style, but I understand it's
back in time. You're going back. You're going the wrong direction.
So I got into this thing, and now I'm going backwards. And I met this kid, Sam. He came in the Bitcoin room. We started going back and forth. And then I was like, yo, Sam, you're the only person that I know enough that we could start this room together. So it was me, Sam, and some other people. We did the videos room. The next morning, I woke up, and I was like, yo, we need to do this again. So we started this room. And like He-Man-Shu, who wants to do like he was a collector and wanted to help artists create like a PR company to help them motivate and promote their stuff. And then there was like one other kid, and we started grinding out. And then this other kid, Patrick, who's like artificial intelligence, comes in this room and he just starts speaking his super like crazy ass. He's awesome.
Right.
But I had no idea how to explain the stuff that he understood. So he started hanging out in the room, and he's from Germany. And then before you know it, like I saw what the videographer room did as a model. I said, dude, I know it's possible they did it, but we need a solid team of mods to make it happen. So by day 2, Glassy hits me up in my DM as like this weird looking cartoon character. He's like, yo, I got a think tank. What's up? Let's meet. And I'm like, yo, who are these people? They're strangers to me. I don't know who these people are. So he reaches out to me. And then I got all these other people coming into this space. And then like, dude, a team was born. It was like the Avengers. We're all like really good in our own little way, and we have the ability to answer questions. Then we got this dude Santi who comes in from I think Buenos Aires or something, and he's like the grandfather of like this whole like he's just like the elder of the tribe, and he comes with this authority and the tenacity because like he'll slap you around a little bit because he just has this idea in his head. He's like, nah, you need to do it like this. So like we had the me, I'm like the little young buck. I don't care. I'll run around like, yeah. And then we had like the energy that kind of held it down. We had the brains that could answer the technical questions. And then we had some females that came on the team to balance out the male energy. And it just became like this like really cool vibe. So now I was like, all right, cool. What do we got to do? So now I'm starting to learn how to gamify like the whole the Clubhouse game. Like I figured out all the little tips and tricks to grow these rooms, to start doing stuff. But I said, dude, I can't build castles on somebody else's sand. I don't own Clubhouse. And if they do what I do on every other platform, I'm going to get booted for breaking terms and services, and I'm going to lose everything. So I said, and plus the search functionality is not awesome yet. So when I go to find people in the search functionality, I can't find people. I get frustrated. So I said, we need a database. So I woke up early in the morning on, I think it was Sunday, and I woke up and I was like, I need to buy a domain, NFTs. And I started doing my research, and I found NFTS.tips was for sale. I was like, whoa, this is a good word. Let's go.
Yeah,
bought it, built the domain, and I said,
so did the Clubhouse room have a name at this point?
No, it was just
did you come up with the name afterwards?
No, I bought the domain on Sunday morning after I learned Friday about NFTs. I bought the domain.
Oh, 2 days. This all still has happened in 48 hours span.
Right. So in 2 days, I built a club. I built a room. I built the energy archetype. I built the team, and then I built this website that I saw in my mind as a opportunity to collect the people inside a search functional database that would also be able, because Sam created NFT map .xyz. So like all these stupid domains have like little spaces, but I said, dude, I can't even remember to say them. So NFTS.tips is like the remote that's going to give you access to all the resources that we've collected, all the people. And then we created a Discord. I think I looked last night, it's over 1,000 people in the Discord. There's people going in there. They're creating the conversations. We niched it out in different channels. So depending on what your forte is. So now in a matter of a few days, like I opened this room and it stayed for 20 hours straight. And then I woke up the next day and I opened up at 5:30 in the morning and ran it until 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning again. And then I woke up again 5:30 in the morning. I don't even have an alarm. Now you got to mind, I don't wake up early. I don't want to wake up early. I love to sleep. Now I'm no longer sleeping. And now there's something that took over my life and my spirit and says, yo, build. Because you don't know how long Clubhouse is going to work and how long it's going to stay. If they open it up to Android market, what's going to happen? I can't afford to wait. Do it now. And I said, all right. So I put all of my blood and energy and spirit into this project. I told my clients, I said, listen, I can't come and help you right now. I'm working on something bigger. I turned all the money down and I've been over leveraging myself because I see that this is going to change the world. And I mean this in the most real way. Like, I'm not talking some fairy tales and unicorns and rainbows. Like, this is a technology that's been around. It went through the fire. It went through the media. It went up to almost $60,000 with Bitcoin. And now the world knows about blockchain. But now this is the first time that it's being put in the hands of the creators. And when I identified it, now my mind is like, yo, how can I do this for myself? How can I create these ideas? Because my ideas are way beyond the normal person. And I don't have a team. I don't have an infrastructure. I don't have anything to build on. I don't have a foundation. So my spirit said, build. And they will come. And I'm like, all right, I'm getting goosebumps. Just look, goosebumps.
Bro, so am I, bro. I'm listening to you like, dog, I'm fucking inspired right now. Like,
because it's so cool. Like, you really took the time to build the infrastructure and elevated it. Now when people are getting on the app for the first time and they're like, where do I go? I've heard about this shit. Boom, here you go. Here's a whole place that's literally been built up from the ground up. And even when you're not necessarily present, it's because you went ahead and you cultivated your team. You know that information is always going to get off, and there's always that different type of level for what type of person you are, like from the novice to somebody that really wants to get technical to like when somebody wants to see the environmental effects. Like, I'll see, like, we have all types of people, and then ways to like direct them in terms of getting the information. Like, I remember at first, anytime somebody would come into the room and be like, what's NFTs? It was just a building community, so we would break it down every single time. Now, when you have in the rooms of an influx of 300, 400 people, and you're asking people, like, what are NFTs? It's like, well, we have resources. We literally built that up, so we don't have to ever, like, try to backtrack things. But then also open it up for individuals, too, to like, yo, we could go offline with this, too. You know, because the whole beautiful thing I've realized, because community building seems to be something that's very important no matter what type of endeavor you're trying to take on. You got to build a community. But as it pertains to this NFT space, I've never, and like everybody's saying, I've never really seen people so receptive to wanting to help people and get people in position to be able to take advantage for themselves. And that's something that's like super, super refreshing, because it's like me and Mac, like, we're individuals, like, we really love to get people onto what it is that we feel like they could go ahead and intertwine what they got going on and, you know, take it off and blow it away. But, you know, sometimes people, they can't really see the incentive in that. And like, it kind of like how you kind of built your whole life, bro. You kind of go into that dark place where everybody's viewing it as a dark place, but you're like, yo, y'all don't see that light there? Y'all don't see what this shit could be? And it's like, I've even molded myself in that way. That's why I really resonate with a lot of people that, you know, have like those visionary perspective to it, because it's like, this is a long game. You can't just really see where things are at right now. Because like 2017, if you looked at where the fucking, because crypto voxels, crypto kitties, like they've been around for a while now. But if you're going to look at the state of things as they are in the present, like, you know, it could be misleading. And now look at, if you have a crypto kitty or if you had a rare Pepe today, you know what I'm saying? You'd be up astronomically. So like, I think it's kudos to you in terms of like understanding how important communities are, no matter what industry you're in, right? Like, build that community up, and then you'll have people not only that are receptive to learn, but you'll have people that will like uphold what this shit is about. And even though now you can delegate and you can make sure that the roles are being fulfilled while you're trying to connect other dots.
And they'll make it better than you could have made it. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll take it and, you know, do their own thing.
NFT Tips got multiple rooms on Clubhouse, different types of levels. You know,
well, we're starting to get flack from some of the other rooms because they feel like I took over the whole space. We got mentioned in the town hall meeting and everything else, but to me, I just understood brand authority. I built the brand around a topic that I saw. Now Patrick, he comes in my room in a private little room. It was me and him. He goes, Alex, this is just a buzzword. I said, Patrick, is NFTs going to be here in 10 years? He goes, yeah. I said, well, you know what, Patrick, we got to build with the words that are going to grab people's attention now. And that's the word. He goes, yep, you're right. And I got so much flack about the logo. I created a logo. Now, if you know what Ethereum is, it's a diamond, right? If you don't know what blockchain is, if you don't know anything and you're being introduced to this for the first time, you're not going to think Ethereum. You're not going to think a diamond. You're not going to think anything. So I created a piggy bank. Why? Because the piggy bank is how you save. And the Bitcoin is the mother origin coin that you're going to put in your piggy bank. And eventually what I want to do is once this community grows enough, I want to make an animation that makes the piggy bank get exploded out and freedom and rainbows and all kinds of shit comes out of this fucking piggy bank because this is what we've been working for. But artists never had that savings, that little nest egg. They never had anything. People will not understand Ethereum if they don't understand Bitcoin. So like there has to be a workflow, and it has to have like, it's simple, it's easy to understand, it was clean, and it has like that modern pop art look. We could put it on anything, it will look cool. So like I see these things and I'm doing it slow and just growing it, and like I didn't game the system because I could have had over 100,000 people on my Instagram and Facebook and all this, but I'm only one person. And when I'm running these rooms for 20 hours, my brain, from operating at this speed my whole life, is now operating at this speed. And it takes me a week sometimes. My clients will be like, yo, I need you to make this video. Normally it would take me seconds. Now he's like, yo, did you send it? And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot. And as I go to do it, I get a notification and I got to do it and I get distracted. And it takes me like a whole day to make something that would have took me seconds. But my brain is so dedicated to this project right now that it's like nothing else matters. My fiance is like, where are you? Like, she hears noise in the house. She's not listening to Clubhouse. She doesn't care about Clubhouse. She doesn't care about NFTs. And she's just like, are you going to shut this off? Like, she's just like, so I had to get the headphones now. So now I got the headphones. I'm walking around the house and she can't even talk to me because I can't even hear because of noise cancellation. And now after 3 weeks, we went to the gym last night and the trainer was like talking to her and she goes, come here. And she goes, what are you doing? And I had my headphones on too. I was running a room last night, talking NFTs while working out.
While working out.
Yeah. So I took off my headphones. She goes, I'm talking to him about NFTs. And I'm just sitting here like, what? Like, now you're talking about NFTs? And she goes, yeah. He's a musician. He does this and that. And he does the workout thing. What can you do? So I was like, yo, you on Clubhouse? No, what's Clubhouse? I said, give me your phone. Download this app. Here, get into the thing. Here's my link. Go into this Discord group. And now he's texting me. He's like, yo, this is insane. This is crazy. Oh my God. Wow. Oh my God. So like my girl who's been absorbing this information for 3 weeks now is now able to hold conversations. And she believes the whole world's already on Clubhouse. She's like, yeah, my fiance is running an NFT room. Just go check him out. And they're like, what planet are you from? So that's the other thing. No, I'm serious, dude. We're talking an alien language when we're talking about some of this stuff. If you don't understand all these things, and the people who are watching me blabber for the last 2 hours or however long we've been in this thing, like NFTs are non-fungible tokens, right? So if you don't even know what that means, because I'm like not like a college educated graduate that has master's degrees, I don't know what that word fungible means. And I was like, what does that mean? So fungible. I
didn't even hear that word until NFTs came about. Fungible. I had to look that joint up the other day.
So my girl calls it non-fuckable coins, non-fuckable tokens. But
not to be fucked with. Facts.
So fungible is like you got a dollar bill. If I have a dollar bill and you have a dollar bill, we both agree that this dollar bill is worth 100 pennies. And if we trade our dollar bills, neither one of us had a value exchange, right?
We don't still have,
Exactly.
That's fungibility. Non-fungibility means I have a unique item and you have a dollar. It's not an equal fair exchange, right? So that's non-fungible. It's unique and you have a money, you're going to buy something and that's a trade of value, right?
Right.
So the token aspect of it is now you're taking this thing that's unique, you're trading it, and you're tokenizing it, right? So now you're able to either have it as a digital asset token, or you're able to replace a physical piece of paper that could be forged and have it as a token that assists this physical object. So if you have a watch, like a Breitling watch or a Louis Vuitton watch, a bag, you have a token that now says that this was printed. So let's start here. Your user ID is your wallet ID. So every person who goes in to create their wallet ID has their identification code. When I have my identification code and you have your identification code and I make a transaction, just like Bitcoin, it's on a ledger. So it says me, my name with my code sends this to you for this transaction agreed upon price, and that's being stored on an open network that is now decentralized. So now if you don't know what the word decentralized is, that's the key to this whole thing that people miss.
That's the key.
The key is if you have all information stored on one hard drive, which I've had many hard drives crash in my days, and it sucks, especially when it's priceless information, you can't get it back. You lose everything. So it could either be hacked, it could be damaged, it could be in a fire, you could have an EMP. So if everything was stored here or hacked and it gets destroyed, you lose everything. Or you have everything stored in this one place and one entity owns all that information and data, which is scary if they don't have the right integrity. So what decentralization does is it takes all of this data and stores it on multiple computers all over the world. So now that blockchain is being stored and like harvested through hundreds of thousands of computers. So if you hit one, it still exists in all the other places, right?
Exactly. And it provides that transparency.
Yeah, not one person owns it. Now it's the people who own it. So once you understand that, and then the next thing that's really cool for an artist is the built-in royalties. So you can have a contract written that if you have a piece of art and you put a 20 or 30% commission on it, every single time that piece of work is sold, you continue to get paid. So unlike in the traditional art world, I have an art piece, I sell it to a gallery, they give me $5,000, I do my little happy dance, and then they turn around and sell it for $10 million, and then they donate it to a hospital, and they get a tax write-off, and I'm sitting here going, wait a second, you guys got 10 million, I got 5,000, what happened here?
Crazy.
So now there's no more person in between, there's no more middleman, there's no more trust. The blockchain is digital trust. So when that transaction goes through, the artist goes, okay, the money goes here, instantly it goes into your ETH wallet. Instantly.
Yep.
So now what I've seen happen in our room, it takes about 3 to 4 days to drink from a fire hose, and your brain's gonna get frustrated. And I'm gonna use Ryan as example. Now Ryan was the guy who was one of the founders and people who kept that room going. He has brain trauma or learning disabilities. So he's like a very slow learner. He comes into the room the first day. I bring him up on stage. I introduce him to everybody, and he was just like getting frustrated because he couldn't wrap his mind around all this information. He's hitting me up in the DMs. What's going on? I don't understand this. I said, come back tomorrow. Comes back the next day. Takes him 4 days. He finally starts understanding it. On the 5th day, he comes in my room at 9, like I think it was 11:09. He comes in, he's like, yo, I did it. I was like, what'd you do? He goes, I bought my first NFT. I was like, yeah. So that's what I recommend for everybody. Go and be a buyer before you become a seller. Because what you're going to learn is there's a learning curve for the person who's on the other end. So how, like, and this is the perfect example. Wednesday at 3 o'clock, Pepe Cash Millionaire comes into the room. He's like, yo, guys, Soldier Boy just dropped his first NFT. And I was like, I'm going to go buy it. How do I go buy it? Send me the link. I go on the link. I need a wallet. Fuck. How do I get a wallet? All right, now I need to move money into the wallet. How do I do that? I got Coinbase. I got Cash App. I got all these other places. I got Bittrex and also I couldn't get my money into Ethereum to move it to this wallet to buy this NFT. I couldn't do it. And it took me 4 hours, and I'm screaming and cursing and yelling. And everybody's like, calm down. I said, I can't calm down. I need to get this. He's got 10 million people that want this. But how many of those 10 people in his audience are verified to make a transaction? Because he didn't do his due diligence to educate his audience on how to get a MetaMask, how to get ETH, how to do all this other stuff. So he has all these people who are not able to interface with his platform now because they don't understand the process. So when an artist is able to go through the buying experience and understand it from a buyer's experience, they can now speak to other buyers as an artist to give them tutorials or videos or walkthroughs or spend the time to make that person feel special and say, hey guys, here's what's going on. This is the future. Get your MetaMask, get your ETH. So when I do my drop in 3 weeks, you guys are ready. And spend 3 weeks educating them and build a community around you as an artist. Right. And if you could do that, dude, you're going to be super successful. But these artists are coming in my room. They're like, I don't know what NFTs are. 3 days later, they're like, I know what NFTs are. How do I get into it? A wallet. And then they're like, how do I mint? What do you mean I got to pay gas fees? So gas fees are important. And the reason they're important is because there's those nodes that I was telling you earlier, the 100,000 people, they have to pay electricity. They have to mine the network. So they get a commission, like a toll or an accountant, to basically pay to make sure that the blockchain is healthy and all the transactions are being done right. So there's a gas fee. Now, because of that all these people onboarded all at the same time and the DeFi community is using it, gas fees are like in the hundreds of dollars. So now this artist wants to sell his piece of work. He puts $50, but the gas fee is $180. And he's just like, I don't have $180. So now they're like, what do I got to do? So now we got a guy, Ness Graphics, Darlington.
Shout out Ness.
I don't know who the other people are. This guy named Tim. I don't really physically know him because he doesn't come in my room yet. But these guys created an artist grant to help artists do their first mint. So now I put them on the website. So we have people who are helping other artists get their first mint. So now they come in my room. They're like, okay, guys, I minted my first piece. What do I do next? So now I'm an Instagram guy, and I got BitBuzz, who has been in this space since probably 2010 and is into the crypto space, buys all the land. He's one of the biggest crypto art collectors, and he ran out of wall space in his house, so now he's buying crypto in a digital format so he can continue to support artists, but he has it in his wallet. So he's like all excited about all these things, and like, I don't know where I was going with that, but about BitBuzz, he said a thing like today, because he spends all his time in my room, and I wanted to just make sure he's good. And it was like 7 a.m. Right. He's like, yo, he's up in my room. He goes, I said, dude, go to sleep, go get some rest, spend some time with your family. He goes, I can't. Sandbox is having a land sale today, and I'm like, I can't get sand in time to do this. Yo, can I send you Bitcoin and you buy me land? He goes, sure. So now, like, this is the first opportunity I'm gonna get a piece of land in the real estate. So
that's dope, bro.
Well, I got the sand, and then I got the sandbox sand plots, and then another thing was the top shots. So because I learned all the techniques on how to buy the moments, day 2 I dropped $5,000 picking up LeBron James cards and all the rookies that I don't know anything about basketball. So I'm going to Google, who's going to be the number one rookie this year? Who was the number one rookie last year? So I started buying all those guys up. And then they said, you know what was strange? That some of these people were not buying one card. They were buying multiple of the same card. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to buy all the cards I can get of the special people who I know. And I just started collecting them. So now my account, it went up to almost $32,000 in a couple of weeks. And now it's starting to correct itself. But $5,000 turned into $30,000, and I was just like, "Oh my god, oh, this is awesome!" But honestly, it's only worth $30,000 if you could find somebody who's going to willingly pay you $30,000 for those specific cards. And we're still in beta, and now the people are starting to jump on. I still can't buy a pack. I got online the other day when they did the stupid drop pack, and I was number 817663. I was like in the back of the line, kicking rocks, waiting 3 hours, still need to get people to do it, and then I got shut out. So the next thing was Street Fighter. Some guy goes, yo, Street Fighter's doing a drop in 20 minutes. We need to get on this. And I'm like, I like Street Fighter. Let's go. So is another one that has lower gas fees, and it's pretty cool. And the Street Fighter Capcom company decided to do the onboarding with credit cards, and so did Top Shots. So these two platforms made sense to me for a user who doesn't understand crypto and doesn't want to do all this other stuff. They literally sign up for this user and password. They get this account ID, and they can use their credit card to buy it. That's the easiest, fastest, click button, get assets, win for the community. But the blockchain people are like, whoa, this and that. And then it's like, I didn't realize all this stuff when I first got in, but I do understand that these people need an on-ramp. And this is really going to be awesome. So now we got the Street Fighter packs. It's a 24-hour drop. So there's going to be unlimited packs for 24 hours. You can buy as many as you want. And this was the first time I could get a pack. I was so excited.
Yeah, that's
so I
good.
bought 8 of them. And then I asked the room, should I buy more? Should I buy more? They were $50 a pack for 60 cards, or I think it was $10 for 10 cards. So I was like,
Right.
I'm going to buy the $60 packs. I'm going to buy 8 of them. And then I had a strategy because this was a game that you had to take 2 build cards. So you get these build cards and you burn them, which means destroy them, and you get a new card that's 1 of 5. So you can get a 1%, which is legendary, a 5%, which is like super rare, and then you get a rare, a regular, and a common. So depending on the percentage, everybody wants to go for those legendary and super rare cards because they're super difficult to get. So I open up my packs and I couldn't even open them. The network got jammed, and we're sitting opening them live in the clubhouse room, and everybody's stressed out, and I get like this like wild energy, and I get frustrated. I'm like, I'm calling the credit card company. This is bullshit. I want my money back. I can't even open my pack. I'm like, this is the worst feeling in the world. So then after about an hour goes by, somebody goes, yo, check your wallet on Wax. And I was like, all right, cool. And I opened it, and then all the cards were there, and I was like,
nice.
I didn't get to see the animation of the pack open. I'm ripped off. I feel so left out. And then I was like, all right, don't worry about that.
That's a whole experience robbed.
So the way that this worked is the first person who can mint the cards the fastest are going to be able to get the lowest mints. And the lowest mints are going to have the most value because of the serial number. So that's how the scarcity was created. So now I'm like, fuck, man, I don't want to lose this opportunity. So I bought one last pack at the last 10 minutes, so I would have 9 packs total. I said I was going to leave 3 packs sealed, and I'm going to open 6 packs, and I'm going to keep half the cards unburnt, and I'm going to burn the rest of them to make the best cards I could make in the shortest period of time. That time period was 7 hours, and I was able to end up with like 8 epic cards that were like super rare and super low serial numbers. But when we first opened this packs and everybody was burning, I said, you know what? I'm going to sit back and create a spreadsheet of all the different characters. There's 60 characters, and I had to tell, all right, I got 14 Guiles, I got 13 Ryus, I got 10 Kens, I got this one, and I broke it down on how many cards. And mathematically, I had to figure out if I burn these 2 cards, how many chances do I get until, because now once you burn those first series of cards to get your first tier of that 1 of 5, you have 5 levels that you have to build to get those cards. So you have a mathematical equation of how many chances that you get based on the amount of packs of cards that you get to get these really cool cards. So now I'm going through, I'm doing my thing, and I'm listening to people going fuck and shit and yelling and screaming, and I'm like, yes, why? Why are you mad? And I started hacking out all of their problems. I said, I can't make those problems. So I started with the no-name characters that I didn't know nothing about, that I had like 30 of their cards. I started burning them, and then boom, we got this common card. And I said, no, good. Took another 2, burned those 2, got another common card, burned those 2, and then I got another common card, and I was getting frustrated. I was like, ah. And then I finally took 2 cards, burned them together, and I get like a super epic card. And I was like, yes. So now I'm like, burn, 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 and I get it all the way up to a level 5. And now I got the little moving backdrop with the fucking card, but it's nobody cares about these characters. So then I said, all right, now I understand how this works. So I started going after Ken, Ryu, Chong-Li, like all the cool characters that we all associate with. And I got them to level 4, and I ran out of build cards. So now I'm just like, damn it. Who's in this room right now that has a Chong-Li? Now I have cards left over. So I said, I'll trade you one of my cards that I have extras with one of your Chong-Li. So now we're doing trading, and it's because we're digital. It's happening instantaneously, and we're able to. I'm like, yo, what do you need to make your level 5 epic cards? I'm gonna have my level 5 epic cards, and now I'm able to get this thing. And dude, I don't even know if the cards are worth anything now, but the experience was just so exciting. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I'm getting text messages from people in my DM saying this was the most fun I had since COVID. So now I'm like, wow. So if you were a person who was able to identify the excitement and the joy, if you were in the physical world and you open up a pack of cards, you open it, you look at them, and then you're like, all right, now what? What do I do? That's it. You're done.
Yeah.
You might be able to get a plastic sleeve and put them in the plastic sleeves and look at them like this, and you're like a super geek. But other than that, that's it. So now
that's usually a solo experience too. Yeah. Like you do that by yourself, probably.
Right. And we had the people in this room live trading cards, opening it. The people who didn't buy the packs are now paying 3 times the price to buy it on a secondary market just so they can have the experience with us. We have Glassy, who was like, yeah, I'm not about this. 10 minutes before the close of the packet sale, bought the packs. He goes, I'm not going to open them. And then while he's hearing all the excitement, he ends up opening them all. So it was just really cool to see these people change their perspective on what NFTs could be. So once you identify what they could be, now your brain goes, all right, do I want to upload some piece of junk photograph or video clip that's 10 seconds long or some 3D art, or do I really want to create an experience? And the people who are really winning in this place are the people who figured out how to have a specific community built around the product, the company, or the artist. And another example is Blau. So this kid, I don't know who he is. I know he's a DJ. He does EDM. I listen to his music through his little Instagram page. But he built a community around him. He got on front of the stages. He promoted his thing. And then he had an auction. So he created his album, created a gamification process, and had 33 spots. I think the total was like $11,600,000 for the total sale of all those 33 spots. Somebody paid 3-point-something million to have an opportunity to win first place so he can have a collaboration with the artist. So this stuff is awesome because it's not just the assets that, and here's another thing that people, why can't I just take a screenshot of a CryptoPunk and sell it like that?
No.
But if you take a screenshot of it and you show people a picture, it has no value because it's not associated to the origin or the value and the serial number. So it's like you taking this knockoff Rolex and trying to go to a jeweler and say, yo, I want to sell this. And they're going to look at it and go, it's not worth anything. It's not real. And another example is like taking a Jordan rookie card and going to the Staples and putting it on a photocopy machine and copying both sides and then taping it together and then trying to tell people, I got this Michael Jordan business. Who's going to buy that? Nobody. It's not real. So when you understand the technology and you understand what it is, and if you don't, and somebody sells you some fake fugazi, and then you find out, dude, your life is on the line because they just figured out you stole their money. So I know you guys are probably asking more questions, so I'll stop now.
Oh no, you're good, man. That was definitely like, people have to definitely understand like the whole scope of it, and that it's like really what we talk about is like endless rabbit holes. You know, even that experience that you were just talking about as it pertains like to the Street Fighter NFTs. Like me and Mech, we got hip to this one platform called Curio, and there's a show on Stars called American Gods, and they actually released their own NFTs. Yeah, and and they gamified it in a way too. They're like, yo, collect all of the drops. And there's actually a drop hack in the day. Mr. Wednesday is dropping today. You collect all of them, then there's going to be that special edition character, but it's only unlocked when you collect all the NFTs. So like, I definitely understand in terms of like all of these different platforms, and then just the significance of it all, and like just trying to get people aware that it's like, yo, it's the experience that you could attach to these NFTs that are really strengthening like the power of it. Like when you had just mentioned the Blau, like he had a top bidder, 3.6 million. It's crazy.
This is what I'm going to do. I figured out what my first NFT is for NFTS.tips. I couldn't figure it out until just this second.
Let us know.
I'm going to make trading cards of all the people in our community.
That's hard. That's hard. That's hard. Hard as shit. Hard as shit. The mods, you gotta get all the mods. Oh my God.
Nah, that'd be tough.
That's cool. That's cool. And you should get on it ASAP. Get on it ASAP. Start the collection. Yes. Yo, come on. Yes. Hit up Pat, hit up Bit, and put that, and Pepe, put that shit together, bro. I'll definitely buy them collectibles for sure. For sure. That's a great idea.
But that's how we're going to do it. Now, the next thing I try to figure out is how do we tokenize this whole experience on Clubhouse and actually make them walk through the experience so they get to learn it and not just talk, give them actionable steps. So my idea was all these people are minting their work for the first time. Some of these people are never going to go anywhere in this space, and some of these people are superstars that are selling their work for millions of dollars. If we could find a way to build a equity pool where every person who mints can donate one of their pieces to a community pool, and then we take tokens and give it to the community, now they hold a piece of this equity that's going to continue to grow in value that they can use and trade and do stuff on the secondary market. But it's in their best interest to hold on to these coins because of the value that we're building together as a community. Like it's like 100%. What?
Yes, bro. It's fucking beautiful, bro. It's fucking beautiful, bro.
Crazy times we're in right now, man.
Yeah, bro. Do you have any other questions for Alex?
Nah, man. I feel like we've gotten through so much and so much information. Yeah, like I feel like the best thing would be to ask like how people can get involved. But I feel like if you're listening to this conversation, you know where we are. We're on Clubhouse, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, go ahead.
This is another thing that I learned about that I thought was awesome. It's called the rug pull. Now, if you don't know what that means,
I don't.
They take 12 of the exact same image or their art, right? There's 12 versions of it, but they put a Bitcoin in one of them, and they auction them all off as the original piece, but you have to find the one with the Bitcoin in it. And these people are going to bid on all 12 of these pieces. The money's going to go up here, but when you open it up and if it doesn't have the Bitcoin in it, it destroys itself. And if you open it up with the Bitcoin, it destroys all the other ones.
The what hole?
It's called rug pull.
Rug hole?
Rug pull.
Oh, the rug pull. Yeah, literally. That's definitely a rug pulled under my eyes. The hell?
But this is a cool concept. It's a cool concept. So like the ideas that are coming from this space are infancies. Like these are babies. These aren't even the real players with the real brains that are going to come in here and really revolutionize. Like we're in a renaissance right now. And these minds that are coming together, we're creating breakout rooms because the general population room is starting. We had Paris Hilton, Kim.com, Diplo, Deadmau5, Gary V. We had some of the biggest names coming in here, sitting in the audience going, what are NFTs? I don't understand. We got Flosstradamus has the first smokable NFT, and I'm just like, what?
That's crazy.
So like, dude, it's gonna be like, and Ryan, he's in the cannabis industry, he's in the clothing industry, he's in the video music industry, and he's in the dog industry. He's like, how can I use this in the dog industry? So imagine having the ability to track the lineage of your dogs. So if your dogs start breeding, just like the crypto kitties, you now have an identification code that says, okay, this is why this dog is worth $10,000. Here's his parents, here's his track record, here's everything in here. Here's all the shows that he won, everything stored on the blockchain. So like, what?
Nah, that's big facts. That's crazy.
Endless rabbit holes that you could go and endless applications towards this shit. And I feel like the emphasis with this whole conversation is really, if you're not aware of NFTs, you're not aware to this, space that has digital assets in it, dive all the way in. This
is the perfect time.
Dive all the way in. Like how you just heard Alex. Alex didn't even know what this shit was.
Time. This is Bitcoin in 2015.
And now this nigga's heading a whole fucking
whole community.
You know what I'm saying? Shit. That's ingratiating everybody that just wants to know, no matter what the level is, just basically strictly off of the passion and off of the vision, having like what this can do for society and just following that, that inclination right there. And then boom, here we are. Here we are. Just
I had another thing I want to challenge the viewers who've been able to make it this far in this video.
Yes.
If you're just learning about NFTs, there's not enough people explaining it in level 0 to level 1 knowledge. Yep. All the people who've been in this game since 2010, they're using vocabulary words that are way above the people you're trying to talk to. Like last night, I was in a DeFi room, and I'm just like, yo, these people are talking AI. I don't understand what they're saying. So if you just learned how to open a wallet, how to mint something, how to do something, I challenge you to create a video walking somebody who's at the same knowledge base that you are and walk them through in a video format. Even if you pull somebody and do a Zoom call just like this and we walk them through, I challenge you to make that video and send it to the NFTS.tips community so we can add it to the YouTube channel so we can start having the community educate the community. This isn't about me. This isn't about you. This is bigger than all of us. And we need to work together to collect the community, to build the net, and make it safe for everybody to learn.
That's a great point, man. I feel like that's what we try to do here on this show. I know Brooke, if you guys follow him on Instagram at Brooke Facil, he's always doing stuff like that. So appreciate you, bro, for sitting down with us and having this conversation, because you just did that. You know what I mean? You literally just did that for all our audience here. So we'll be sending you this as well, so you know what I'm saying, you can add it to the resources, because this is that.
Yeah, 100%. This is going to drop at 8 a.m. This Friday Eastern time, but definitely going to send you over this. We're going to chop it up because I think we went over a multi information, and definitely for somebody that doesn't know what the fuck is up with this space, hey man, watch this video. It's as good as any as in terms of a starting point, and then boom, just venturing out from there.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem
thanks a lot.
Is the vocabulary word. The biggest problem is the vocabulary word. So like, even if you want to try to Google this stuff, you don't even know what to search for because you don't know the words. So on the NFT tips page,
Right.
I created the vocabulary words. I created a thing. It's a living document. It's an open Google Doc. So if you have information or if you have questions, write your questions down. The community will go in and answer them. So you'll have the ability to have a repository of knowledge because it's a collective and it's a community and we're all building at the same time. And it's not perfect and it's not pretty all the time, but it's okay because like I'm a perfectionist, but at the same time, I understand the importance of time. And in one day in crypto is like 1 month in the real world. And we're moving at such a pace. And if you don't pay attention and get plugged in, you're going to get left behind. And Ryan always says this from the video room. He goes, if you're something like, if you're not able to be the fastest to learn if you're slow to learn the newest knowledge, you're going to be the fastest one to be left behind.
Wow.
Yeah.
That resonates.
That's facts.
Yeah.
So we're at
Alex, thanks a lot, man.
We're at a turning point. And if you're part of that resistance, if you want to change the world, come and join us at NFTS.tips, and we're going to make this a better place for everybody.
Hey,
dope.
Well said, bro.
Thanks a lot, man. Really
so
appreciate your time. Have a great rest of the day. And I'm sure we'll be seeing you in the NFT.tips room up Clubhouse later today. We'll be hearing your voice again.
And tonight, we're doing our first New York meetup at the Classic Car Club in Manhattan. So we're going to be mixing Ferraris and NFTs.
Get them hip. Get them hip. That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, bro. Get them hip. Thank you again so much, Brody.
All right, man. Keep smiling.
Early.